Just ahead on American Black Journal, a workshop that is going to help small business owners navigate changes in the economy and other challenges, plus a training program that teaches communication skills to young people. Don't go away. American Black Journal starts now.
Masco Corporation is proud to manufacture innovative and environmentally friendly products for the home. Delta faucets, craft-made in Merillat cabinets, and Behr brand paints have all been designed with you in mind. Masco and its family of companies, serving Michigan communities since 1929. The DTE Foundation proudly supports 50 years of American Black Journal in covering African American history, culture, and politics. The DTE Foundation and American Black Journal, partners in presenting African American perspectives about our communities and in our world.
For nearly 100 years, Ally has been a part of Detroit, and we give back by volunteering and donating in our community. We have a commitment to diversity and increasing economic mobility in our hometown. At Ally, we're dedicated to doing it right every single day.
Welcome to American Black Journal. I'm Stephen Henderson. The 5th annual Small Business Workshop is coming to Detroit's Tech Town in May, which happens to also be Small Business Month. This year's theme is Navigating the Headwinds of Change. Attendees will receive valuable information on how to grow and sustain their businesses during changes in the economy and in the marketplace. Joining me now to talk more about this is Mark Lee, President and CEO of the Lee Group, which puts on the workshop. And with us is Dave Girodat. He is Regional President of Fifth Third Bank, which is the event's presenting sponsor. Thank you both for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so 5th year. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I can't believe it's been 5 years.
I was going to say, I think you probably came here to talk about it before the first year.
I did, and to watch it grow. First of all, I want to thank you for your support. You've been a major part of getting that information out, and I want to thank Fifth Third Bank for being a presenting sponsor. And to watch it grow over the last 5 years has been tremendous. It still reinforces the fact that we have a need, we have a challenge in this city, and entrepreneurs are still yearning for information to look to and grow their businesses.
So talk about the difference between year 1 when you did this and year 5. Do things look different for small businesses?
I think so. What we're finding in year 1, Detroit was just on the cusp. You know, we were coming out of the whole bankruptcy, some challenges back there, and people were starting to really grow. They wanted to get into business, if you will. But back in year 1, the foundational piece, we focused on strategic planning, helping you start your business, helping you to identify what's the overall strategy. But here we are in year 5, Detroit continues to emerge and continues to grow, but there's some challenges out there on the horizon potentially as it relates to the economy. While the economy is doing well at this point, there's some indicators down the road that indicate it might actually begin to shift. So we're focusing this year on helping your business navigate those headwinds of change.
Yeah, so easier maybe to get a business started now than when you started, but tougher to figure out how to keep going.
It's always a challenge to start a business. You still have to have that plan. You have to have the financing, the right people, your board of advisors to help get you going. So I don't want to undermine that to say it's easy to start a business, but certainly the challenge, Stephen, is to continue to focus on growth. What do you do? How do you navigate those changes?
Yeah. Fifth Third has been the lead sponsor of this for 5 years. Tell me why.
You know, Stephen, and thank you to Mark for allowing us to be a strategic partner. You know, it really ties back into our overall commitment to community and strengthening the small businesses that are out there and starting new. You know, that's the backbone of what we do as an organization. I mean, yeah, I love banking the Fortune 500 companies, and they're tremendous, but the reality is our economy is driven off small business. And the more of those we have, the more business that comes to Fifth Third, the more business comes to the marketplace. And you need partners like Mark. I mean, the biggest thing around small business is really educating some of the things you need. A lot of people with great concepts, great ideas, but how to implement, how to execute, how to reach out and find capital, investors. There's not really a great playbook out there unless you go to someone like a Mark Lee and learn from his seminars to manage through the process. Yeah. And Fifth Third's been committed, and this has been an ongoing partnership, and it's really about not just building opportunities for Fifth Third, it's really about strengthening our community.
Yeah.
This is about the city of Detroit and the region that we live and
And
work in.
I feel like Fifth Third's role in this community has changed over that time period as well. Talk about how that's
You know, it really has. You know, we moved downtown over 3 years ago, and it really strengthened our position in the city itself. You know, we have approximately a $2.8 billion commitment over a 5-year period to invest in small business, affordable housing, you know, philanthropic efforts, you know, give back to the communities. And we continue to focus on that. You know, we put $3 million into the Entrepreneurs of Color Fund, which was a great opportunity. We did that fall of 2017. You know, some statistics out there right from the mayor's office. You know, there's 61,000 small businesses in the city of Detroit. 50,000 are minority owned. I mean, that's a huge statistic.
That's amazing, yeah.
And it's a great opportunity. As we were talking pre-show, think about the old neighborhoods that a lot of us remember and grew up in, where you had the drugstore and the cleaners, and I mean, you didn't go to the mall.
Right.
You went to the end of your street, and those services were there.
Yeah.
And if we really want to help strengthen, rebuild the neighborhoods that we need to, it's going to take small business. It's going to be a big piece of that, and how we're going to be successful.
And those businesses back in those days employed Detroiters. They employed people from the neighborhoods. And as we continue that conversation, the question was, you know, what's changed since that time? And I think the value of the workshop and the partnership with Fifth Third Bank is to kind of reconnect and give people the ideas, the tools, the resources, say, hey, it's okay to go back into the neighborhoods and try to start a business there, so we can begin to employ Detroiters, because they are the economic engines of this country, as well as the economy nationally, as well as locally as well.
Yeah. Still, there are challenges, though, in these neighborhoods that you wouldn't find in other places. I mean, we aren't to the place yet where it's sort of an apples to apples comparison, right?
That's correct. I mean, one of the things that we have a challenge, quite frankly, we have a lot more vacant land, and we have the population density is not what it was back years ago when I was younger, and Dave certainly was younger as well. We're talking about just a couple of years ago.
Thanks, Mark.
Very recently, right?
But there are some challenges, but there's still some very thriving pockets in this city where businesses are beginning to get into, and we're starting to see that level of success. So we need to replicate that model from those businesses and take it across the city and really make it.
That's where, if you go back to Fifth Third, some of the things we're trying to do is, if you take the strategic neighborhood fund, where you have dollars specific to certain neighborhoods and communities, we have to have concentrated efforts. And our financial commitment there is the same thing as, how do we have a stable home ownership environment? How do we promote small businesses within those neighborhoods, clean up the parks, find out what the communities want? But it's all the same thing. We're just trying to create a circle of what people want around their community, where they can live, shop, play, work.
Yeah, the Strategic Neighborhood Fund is a program that the mayor is undertaking to get banks and other investors to help lift up his efforts in the neighborhoods.
Yeah, it was, I think, a great job by the mayor. It's something Fifth Third certainly, we're proud to be able to stand up and support that as well.
Yeah.
But all tying back into, I think, the great things that Mark's doing is, the more we can educate and promote small business, that's going to help just float the whole boat up in terms of our marketplace here.
So talk a little more about what people will encounter if they show up.
Yeah, we're going to have keynote speakers. We're going to have a panel discussion focused on navigating the headwinds of change. People will also have the opportunity of coming and sit through a specific one of 4 workshop topics focused on, do you really understand who your customers are? What's the lifetime value of that customer? What happens when the economy begins to shift? Who do you begin to focus on? How do you communicate with them? So they have the opportunity of attending 4 different workshop sessions, if you will, after listening to a keynote speaker and listening to a great panel discussion. And they have the opportunity of networking. We'll have vendor tables there representing businesses from across Detroit. And of course, Fifth Third will be there. And they have the opportunity of just networking and meeting people and getting the resources that they're looking for.
Yeah. When we talk about headwinds of change and economic challenges, I think everybody is kind of waiting for the sign that the economy is going to slow down or stop growing, which it's been doing for a record number of years. From a banking perspective, though, does that end up changing the relationship with small businesses?
No, I tell you, everyone, sure, you're always cautious, but your best businesses can sustain the economic changes. And that's what you really have to look at. And that's why people that go in have a great idea, and startups to sustainability is really what you have to look at. And if you have the right business concept, the right business plan, and you sensitize, what you need to live on and take out of a business versus the best days versus the worst days, you can ride to the cycles. And we've all experienced some cycles here in our lives,
Yeah.
and the best businesses emerged even better coming out of a challenge. We're optimistic right now, but I think with the tools that are out there, people can be positioned to ride pretty much any economy that we endure.
Yeah. What about access to capital? I know that's not just a big deal with small businesses. Minority businesses also face different challenges.
Yeah,
there.
they do.
Are we
And
doing better with that in the city?
I think it's slowly improving. Access to capital always rises. That's the #1 challenge for businesses. And I think the difference that you will find between minority-owned businesses and the general population at large is very simple. A lot of the majority-owned businesses, some people have had generational wealth.
Sure.
They've had the money passed down, so they're able to invest those resources, if you will. A lot of minority businesses don't have access to that generational wealth. So there's a lot more bootstrapping that takes place. There's certainly a lot of opportunities to get traditional financing, also non-traditional financing. But access to capital continues to be that challenge for businesses, small, medium, large, minority, as well as majority-owned businesses as well.
What are some of the things you've learned from the businesses who've participated in this over the 5 years about what they've gotten out of it?
Out of the workshop, they've learned a lot of great information.
Yeah.
And the feedback that I get is they love the fact they get access to business leaders, access to businesses that they normally wouldn't have access to. They don't know where to turn to.
Yeah.
And at this workshop, which is May 7th from 8 until 1, people will come together and again have direct interaction and contact. So the biggest thing I've learned is how people just enjoy coming and getting that level of support.
Well, I mean, that whole idea of starting your own business and growing it and running it, it's kind of a lonely exercise.
It's a lonely exercise. It's a lot of work.
Yeah, right. And I would imagine that there's some inherent value in being able to connect with other people who are doing the same thing.
I would agree with that. And I think, by the way, if people want more information about the workshop, they can go to the website is ZaleeGroupInnovation.com. That's ZaleeGroupInnovation.com.
Yeah, and we'll also have that info on our
Thank you.
website. All right, Mark, Dave, thanks for being here.
Thank
I
you
want to
much.
thank
Congrats,
Victor one more
too.
time.
5 years, that's a big deal.
Congrats. We look forward to continuing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, just ahead, a broadcast training course for young people. But first, here's a 1993 Detroit Black Journal conversation about teaching youth how to become entrepreneurs.
Why is it important for you, Clifton Morgan, to run your own business and not work for somebody else?
It's not that I don't want to work for someone else, but this has a lot of opportunities. Number one, it teaches you skills. It gives you financial stability and financial security. So that's what a lot of times you can't get that when you're just getting a regular job.
Dave, he mentioned self-esteem. Do entrepreneurship, doing for oneself, and self-esteem go hand in hand? Is that part of your curriculum?
Absolutely. That's probably the biggest part of our curriculum. One of the key elements that we thought about when we were beginning the program was what it actually provided outside of starting business or the tools to start a business. And for me personally, one of the biggest categories that was dramatically improved was hope. And I think as a fellow Detroiter, we understand that one of the biggest problems that we have is hopelessness, fighting hopelessness. And I think that is part of one of the deep roots that feed self-esteem is hope. And so that's what this program has been instrumental in restoring in a lot of people's lives, demystifying the business world and helping them understand that they can actually start a business and not a game. I mean, really start a profit-making business. And
Let's talk about that, and particularly among African Americans and African Americans here in Detroit. Some people, when you talk to them about owning their own business, employing somebody instead of being an employee for somebody else, it makes them squirm. They get very uncomfortable. They can't envision themselves in that role and capacity. What are some of the problems and what is some of the baggage people bring into the DCE program, and what do you have to attack?
Okay, well, I think you hit it on the head when you said vision. A lot of people just simply don't have the vision. They can't see themselves doing that. When you talked about orientation, how we've been oriented as youth and growing up in the city, is that you've been oriented. The Detroit is a working man's town, and it is. People have a tremendous work ethic here. But along with that blessing, there's a small curse, because it's difficult when the city's been so successful, or had been years past, in providing those jobs, to have a work ethic to work for somebody else. it's difficult to translate that same ethic can be applied to your own business. And if there's anything that we're fighting, again, is that vision of seeing yourself with the same work ethic, same beliefs, but doing it for yourself rather than relying on someone else to provide the job for you.
Cliff, your friends, male and female at Osborne, what attitudes do they have toward owning their own businesses, or do they even talk about that? What are young people thinking about these days as they, as you have done, graduate from high school and get ready to go on to college and in the world of work?
Well, a lot of them just envision themselves getting a good job in whatever field of choice they have. Most of them don't think about owning their own business, which there are a few at my school who went through the program along with me, and some do have their own businesses and still run them. But a lot of them just think, I'm going to go to college, get a degree in computers or engineering or what have you, and just get a good job.
Fresh Nation is a program that teaches the ABCs of communication to students in the 6th to 12th grades. In addition to improving their public speaking and interview skills, the young people learn the latest broadcast technology and social media applications. The weekend courses are taught by local journalism, broadcasting, communications professionals. Plus, the students get real-world exposure to the industry through visits to media companies. Here to tell us more is the founder and program director of Fresh Nation, Delvis Nixon. Welcome to American Black Journal.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So what a wonderful idea. Obviously, I'm somebody who works in the field that you're trying to expose these kids to, but I also feel like the skills you're teaching them about, they're applicable everywhere, right? No matter what you want to do,
yes.
These are skills you really have to have.
Absolutely, and we talk to parents all the time about it. Many parents will ask us, well, does my kid have to want to become a broadcast journalist or radio host or TV host? And we say, absolutely not. Communication is the lifeblood of success in any career and in life, so absolutely.
Yeah, so tell me about what you're learning and seeing with these young people you're working with.
Wow, I'm learning that kids want this information. First of all, I've learned that a lot of kids don't know as much about social media as we think. We think this generation is these social media gurus,
right?
And a lot of them don't even know what LinkedIn is.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're going to need to know that down the road. They know about Snapchat, things like that. But they don't understand necessarily algorithms. You know, we teach them front end, the back side, and the front end. So from the user side to the technical side, so that they learn consumer habits and things like that. So yeah, we're learning that they're hungry for it, and they want to get better. And of course, we teach them in a format that's fun and exciting.
Yeah. Are you creating the next Lester Holt or someone like that? I mean, do you feel like the effect here is that you'll get more kids who are interested in these careers?
Yes, I mean, I really feel that we are. You know, some people say, "Wow, is this a Specs Howard type of thing for fifth graders on up?" And in some instances, yes. But I also feel that it has an academic component too, because our kids are performing better in the classroom. So yes, we really believe that our program is cutting edge, and it is filling a need at a young age to be married to a device as a young person and not necessarily have soft skills.
Right.
You know, to communicate and our interpersonal skills, we think that's missing.
I would imagine that's a real challenge, right?
Yes.
My kids, who are teenagers, are very fluent with the device in their hands, right?
Yes.
It's the first thing they do in the morning, and it's one of the last things they do before they go to bed, despite my efforts to try to get them to put it down. And I'm probably just as bad, really. But teaching kids now that you need to be able to interact in a way that's not through the screen, I would imagine is a really difficult thing.
That's a very, very challenging thing from time to time with kids. So what we do is we create exercises. First and foremost, when they come to class, we put them in a lot of group exercises, first of all, just to get them used to communicating with one another. And then we involve them in exercises like, for example, our most recent course. We're ending a semester right now at Wayne County Community College District, and we have kids who have actually went out and polled various popular topics in the United States at this time, and they were just excited about getting into groups and forming these poll questions and putting them out there. Amazing. So that's helping in itself. The fact that we're putting them in groups, and then we teach them the techniques of being a part of groups and the power that can come out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about the response from the media partners and people you're working with? Are they helpful?
They're very helpful. I mean, we've had some who've retired, from Terry Foster, retired from the CBS, The Ticket, to people who are currently working, like a Stephanie Davis. They're all excited. They're just, hey, let us know what you need, and they're just coming out in groves to help us out in the classrooms. And so it's been very successful.
Yeah. Talk about the kids who are attracted to this. Are they mostly kids here in the city of Detroit, or are they all over the metro area?
They're all over the metro area, primarily within the area. Our partners, of course, DAPSEP is one of our big partners. Detroit PAL, we have a 2-year program curriculum there that's more of a sports journalism and broadcast journalism program. And then through various charter schools, and DPSCD is also one of our schools that we either pull them into our camps and our weekly programs, our after-school programs, as well as having us in the school during weekdays.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when you take them to see broadcasters at work, what's the reaction these kids have?
They are amazed. I must admit, local, it's awesome, to see that you're here and then you're not syndicated. Right. You're actually here, right? But then on the radio side, you go, does Stevie Harvey sit there, right? Yeah, he does, but he's not in Detroit.
But not in Detroit, he's everywhere, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yes, they are very encouraged. They're very, a lot of them are kind of surprised.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this environment, this is the real deal. I've been following these things and posting social media, but now I get a chance to experience it hands-on, and they really love it.
Yeah. What would you tell parents of kids who are maybe not in this program about how to navigate these challenges with teaching your kids communication skills, teaching them, again, those soft skills that are super important, whether you're a broadcaster or not? It's a different world.
It's a different world. First and foremost, I think I want to speak to parents first and just say that understand that Stanford University created a study that said that we have a 30 million word gap with especially urban and African American kids at the age of 5. 30 million word gap. So at 5 years old, these kids are at
fewer words
than their counterparts. Yeah. So what we have to understand is that we have to speak to our kids and tell them the real deal. Speak to them in real complete sentences. Don't baby gaga when you talk to your baby. Talk to them like we are talking. Right. Talk to them intelligently.
Read to them.
Yeah. Deliver those words, because their minds are like blank tablets.
Yeah.
So look at it that way. And then more importantly, you put them in a program like Fresh Nation. You're able to actually put them in a program with professionals and certified instructors who are going to expand their vocabulary. We bake into the program over 30,000 vocabulary terms each semester. They don't even understand what's happening.
you just have it in the curriculum, right?
And they're 5th and 6th graders, and they don't know it's college level.
Right.
And when they take their pre-test, they go, I didn't do that well. That's okay. You're going to be okay. Just hang in there, right?
Right. You'll recognize that word the next time you see it.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. What about that device management? The over-reliance on the screen, which again, as parents, look, I'm quite guilty of it.
Yes.
I've got my phone sitting right here, even during the show.
Yes.
How do you tell them, there's this great advantage that they might have in the sense that they know more about how these things work, but again, it probably impacts their soft skills negatively.
It does. So what we do is, as part of our exercise, yes, we do have less pen to paper, as we call it. We do have more hands-on, but we do make sure that we create subject matters, things that are important to kids that they can discuss in groups. So like our broadcast exercises, our radio exercises, they break off into teams, and they're their own teams, their own breakfast clubs of the world. And they break off into teams, and they pull popular subjects in the community out, and they discuss them, and they're developing these soft skills with these new terminology words we're giving them to bake into their conversations, and we find that it's working effectively.
Yeah. All right. Well, how many kids do you have doing this right now?
We teach about 500 kids each year.
Is that right?
500 kids each year, combined with our DPS partners, DAPSEP, which is one of our larger partners, Detroit PAL, and then individual schools, public and private, that bring us on board.
That's great. Yeah. DAPSEP's been around forever. That was around
Yes.
when I was a kid
Yes.
here in Detroit, still doing really great things
Yes,
with
and
young
then we
people.
created a program with Detroit PAL as well. So we have a 2-year program with them, which is the newsroom program, which is journalism, and we have a semester starting April 6th for that.
Okay, well, you're creating the next generation of journalists. That's super important work,
Yes,
right?
yes, it's super important. And like I said, FreshNation.net is our website. We're currently taking registration for students, for parents who want to get their children involved at an early age to learn the lifeblood of success in their communication skills
Okay,
and
all
broadcast.
right. Thanks for being here and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's our program for today. Thanks for watching. You can get more information about our guests at AmericanBlackJournal.org, and you can check out past episodes. Plus, you can always connect with us on Facebook and on Twitter. We'll see you next time.